Yo.
Yo.
How's everyone doing?
I'm enjoying the new background. Is that the room that was remodeled, Paul?
Yeah, we stole space from this room to enhance our bathroom. So yeah, the room is basically the same, but it has a smaller closet now. But yeah, it's good to be back in my office.
What kind of wallpaper are you going to pick this time?
We might paint it a color, like a solid color. I was thinking of doing that, like maybe like a blue or something, but no decision. Maybe I could just do bright green so it can be a green screen. I'll just move the bookshelf out of the way, and I can have some virtual. I want to put on a apocalypse background for the next couple months of just LA in ruins. I can use
What
scenes
was that
from
movie
Terminator
about?
Salvation.
There was a movie about the last day on Earth or something, staged in LA as well, right?
A lot of them are in LA. There's so many end of the world LA movies. It takes very little for LA to be the end of the world. There's like no water here, and there's like no resources other than oil.
And actors, of course.
Our greatest resource.
All right. Do you want to start, Pavlo?
Yeah, hi guys, just a couple of seconds. Still configuring the setup.
We can stall for you.
Take me a bit. Yeah, I'll share my screen then. Just a second. Do you see it? Hope so. First thing I wanted to demonstrate is usage of SQL storage for the replication, and it must be somewhere here. And just a second. Yeah. So I have two projects, project 1 and project 2. I already spin up a Praefect with two Gitalys behind it, and also I have enabled Praefect replication. Currently, it is using my Docker container to store all the data, and yeah, of course I run migration on it. As a preparation step, I have checked if it works at all or not, and yes, looks like it works. What we have so far is the table with the jobs itself. So it's what we actually stored in memory for the past, I don't know, implementation. And the details, actual details of the job now stored as JSON. Don't know if I will be able to or not. Unfortunately, I can't format it properly here, but what we have is this, all those fields as we saw before in memory. Now we have them in SQL storage. So most of them are updates. We have also relative pairs for the project where it's stored. And we have source and target storages. So where the replication must be came from to what storage. And also we have metadata. It was added by me recently For now, we have only correlation ID here, as it's only parameter we have so far. What else? Yeah.
Why
Couple
are
words.
some correlation IDs longer than others? Does that depend on who called to change, or?
Yeah, so one of them is the long one is generated by outside from Gitaly, I suppose, and the short one is generated inside. I hope so. Maybe.
Okay.
I wonder if that's
So
Sidekick versus Rails or something like that. I feel like that might be it.
yeah, maybe. So if we generate it internally in Praefect, there must be some prefix for that. I don't remember what, but yeah, we have prefix for that. I think Paul can say more about that. Yeah, okay, let's move on to other fields. As always, it has an ID where it just tracking what is the number, and it's unique, of course. We have a state. It shows what is the state of this replication job. So the initial state is ready, and when the job is ready, it can be consumed and replication could happen. If replication fails, the state will be failed. I will try to search for the states. Migration data store. Yeah, it might be somewhere here. Yes. So we have ready, completed, what we see right here. If it fails, it will be failed. And I think, of course, if it fails too many times, now this is responsibility of the attempt column. If it fails more than 3 times, it will get into failed state and will remain in this state forever. Yeah, so those are just for tracking purpose when the replication was created and it was updated. And we have this special field lock ID that is basically concatenation of the destination storage and the repo path it will trigger. So this is a it allows to run in sequential order replication jobs for the same storage for the same repo. So, or if we have, let's say, if we have 2 replication jobs for the same storage, but the repositories are different, they can run in parallel. If we, let's say, have 2 prefects, and if we have 2 jobs or more for same storage and for the same repo, this column allows us to run those replication jobs only sequentially. It doesn't matter how many prefixes we have, they will be synchronized by this lock. And to do that, we also have a couple of 2 other tables. The one is the log table. Can and it logs let's say prefect and actual job. Now it is empty because we have no running jobs. And once new job created, the process of it will create a lock if it's not in this table yet. And when the job is consumed for the processing, the row in the job log table will be created. So no other prefect will be able to run any other jobs for this storage in this repo.
And
So
this is to circumvent the limitation we have that we can't use Postgres logs, right?
Yeah. So it was initially done in this way just because we can't use I don't remember the log mechanism.
You can have a kind of row lock on the job, so then you would naturally get a lock on the replication from that, but you're not supposed to hold those for a long time, and replication can take a long time. Plus PG bouncer gets in the way, I think.
Yeah, the PG bouncer is the biggest problem for us here. So that's why it was designed in this way.
Yeah, I remember reading articles about this, and they also said that if you do something that takes a long time while holding the lock, that's probably also not a good thing, and you want to have shorter queries on the database where you update a field to say I'm holding the lock, and you update it again when you're done.
Yeah. So
and long is considered anything above a second or something, or?
I don't know enough about it to quantify that. But
like, yeah,
it can
like
take 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 20 minutes to copy a large repo. So no matter what long.
So we're not even in the realm of getting this with logs done with the PG logs, even if we didn't have PG bouncer, because then we would be closer to, let's say, 10 milliseconds.
Yeah, I think if, again, I don't really know what I'm talking about. I'm going by these blog posts, but I'm getting the impression the moment you're talking to a different system or you're doing IO or you're doing network calls, then you're introducing an amount of uncertainty in how long it's going to take, that it's probably not appropriate to hold the lock on the Postgres level.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, someone with more experience about Postgres can probably say something better about that, about whether it's actually true. And PG bouncer is, of course, a very clear reason anyway.
We did have an issue with rebasing, where if the rebase took longer than 60 seconds, the Postgres lock would just time out and the request would fail. But hopefully it wouldn't take 60 seconds here. So
we were using a row lock for rebasing?
Yeah, we were. I mean, I think we had to take it out because of that bug, but for a while there.
Yeah, so current implementation is free of such long transactions or a long connection to database. Everything it does for storing events or consuming events is done by a single call. Not a single call, but it will be an atomic operation. Yeah.
That seems like probably the sort of thing we want in the type of system we're building.
Yeah. So let's try to do some modifications and let's see if it really works. So I have a tail here. Let's just add a new file. Text 1 txt. And let's see. So here is something is happening. And also we want to check if there is a new jobs here. I think we need to order by ID descending. So it was created just just now because it's UTC time. It was update, and I don't know how I can do a rename. So we can see we have a parameters, not now.
Maybe if you do a deletion, that triggers a rename. I don't remember if we factored that out.
Okay.
So deleting the project,
be...
yeah, over there. It's at the bottom of the general settings.
Yeah. Advanced, yes. Removal, I saw it. Yeah, let's remove it. Prefect 2, project 2, sorry. Project 2, confirm. Oops, just a second. Oops, yeah. I see that something is here. So let's check the logs in database. Yeah, we have rename, but I don't know why it is 2 records. And yeah, they all looks the same, but
it might go through a couple stages.
I see that it is a wiki. Yeah, so everything.
Then if we wait
correct.
a minute, oh no, 5 minutes, we'll see to delete calls. So the change is called delete. Like when Sidekick kicks in to actually delete it from the storage. Then the job name is called delete.
Change. I need to check. Don't remember. Yes. Change. Update. Delete. Rename. Yeah, it must be delete then. How long we need to wait?
To be honest, I don't know, because recently we introduced a feature where a delete is a soft delete for the first 30 days. And you have this badge on gitlab.com where it says pending delete. So if you think better of your deletion, you can still revert your change.
I got. So let's check.
But the good thing is we saw that the rename happened, or we can inspect the disk to see that the rename happened and got propagated. Or did we just do that?
Sorry, can you repeat this, Jacob?
Did we already look if the rename happened on the file system, or what Praefect did with the rename?
We can. Let's check that. I will check it here. I don't actually remember where the storage is. Item Praefect Gitaly.
You'll need to look inside the Gitaly config files to find the storage path. They're usually like Gitaly -0 and Gitaly -1.
Yeah, or you can just run ls at the top level of GitLab Development Kit, because then you probably see them.
Bin socket path repositories. Okay.
So what is the other one? Because that's the default path if you have only one.
And the other one, just a second. One. It will be subdirectory with prefect internal 1.
Okay.
So let's check.
I opened a bug against this because I ran into some issues because it's like nested inside of the storage of another.
You're not supposed to do that. Very bad things can happen if you do that. We actually have a validation in Gitaly when it boots that none of the storages defined in its config file are nested. And the only reason this is not tripping that validation is because it's two independent Gitalys. But this is not a sane layout.
Yeah, to do a demo of the consistency checker I wrote, we're going to need to resolve this bug because I walk the file system in that code, and since it's in the same file system, it just keeps creating.
That's why you don't want this. I think what we could do is, I mean, not a lot of people are using multiple Gitalys anyway in GDK, so we just have to update the code that generates these paths and create repositories .1 or something at the top level. Then you'd be around it.
Yes, as you can see, there is the path we know previously about, but there is a path delete, I suppose. Yeah, here it is. So it is deleted.
Yeah, and that's the expected. That's what's expected. So it stays in the same parent directory, and it just puts a prefix on the old name, or a suffix.
Let's check. How about our copy prefect? Okay.
We were actually talking about. Sorry, I'm going to hijack this for a second because we were having. So I was having conversations with several people about regexes for relative paths, and this is an example of something that is not the normal format for hash storage, but that is a valid path in Gitaly, and things work correctly because Gitaly doesn't care that the path looks like this. So if we want to have very strict rules about what the relative paths in Gitaly are supposed to look like, then this is the type of thing you run into when you go into that rabbit hole. I'm not saying we can't go into that rabbit hole. I just want to point out that it might be deep.
Yeah. Okay, I don't see anything here, so don't know why. Let's check other directories. But we have something here. Maybe it's something we need to take a look at. Yeah. Do we gonna proceed with it, or we can switch to our usual demo?
I still wonder how we can observe this. Like, is there Prometheus metrics other than logs? How does this work?
We can add the metrics on top of the queue interface. Just to take
is the question about what metrics there should be, or what metrics there are on the branch we're looking at?
Which there are. Like, if we merge this, how do we observe this?
Yeah, there's those three methods we can use. We can wrap them in something, and it's actually what I did in my merge request because of testing.
What we can also do is have, I think it's possible to have custom Prometheus endpoints that would run a SQL query the moment you scrape them, where we do a count on the database. We do a select count star. So then every time Prometheus scrapes, it just gets the current number. I'm also not sure if we need to have this right at the start because, well, it depends a bit on how this looks when we merge it. But if we merge something where SQL is in there, but it's still sitting next to the old in-memory store, then we can have a separate merge request where we add this interface. But I think a custom probe. I think you can have a custom Prometheus probe, and that might be the most natural way to do it.
If you implement the collector interface from Prometheus, you can basically do that. Just register the component directly with Prometheus.
Yeah, exactly. And then that could do a select. In the case of the in-memory store, it could just do a length, go length call. And in the case of the Postgres store, it could do a select count.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting upping the scope, but more like if we deploy this and we use it and something happens, where should I look? But logs is fine for now.
Yeah, so basically it's all I have about the SQL storage. It works. What else? I have a merge request open to introduce this new interface. And yeah, once the interface will be merged in, there will be one follow-up merge request to actually switch in-memory queue implementation to Postgres implementation. And that will be it.
Would it be possible for us to demo if a prefect comes online after it had downtime, that it will resume with the job queue? So basically, let's say we have a way to queue jobs, and while it's handling that, we kill prefect and we reboot again and we see the change of status. Is that possible? Or am I now stretching what can be done this demo?
You want to add jobs, reboot the prefect, and see will it?
Yeah. So we add like
yeah, we
exactly.
can do that. Just a second. Let's go into GDK stop prefect. Yeah. Okay, must be stopped right now, and let's just add new jobs into the queue. I will use the test I have. So data store queue test. I will use the same I had here. So just wanted to be sure. Yeah, let's use the first one. Why it is jumping? So loc ID job itself will be changed. Yep. And meta information, we should use some correlation ID. Just let's use this value. So we have I don't think I did the correct insert because yeah, there's no it's correct one. So the initial state is ready, We have a date when it was created. There is no updates yet. We have 3 attempts to run it, and we have other information. So let's start the prefect and we'll see if it will be consumed or not. GDK start prefect GDK tail. I just trigger the database to see if it's there. Yeah, I see that it's cancelled. And
maybe it wasn't correct after all.
I
in the logs, I saw that it had trouble dialing the Gitaly node.
Yeah, just a second. Unable to replicate, fail to create a repository.
Are the Gitaly nodes running?
Connection refused. GDK, how we can check that?
GDK status.
Okay. Prefect Gitaly 1 is down, normally down, run, yeah.
Oh.
They're all running. You need to look at the first column. It says run colon all the way on the left.
Oh, I see.
That means it's running.
Yep. We can try to insert more jobs, and let's just create a new job from here, and then we will copy it. Maybe we used the project that was just removed.
Oh, that could be.
Why.
Yeah.
Root. Yeah, I want to edit.
But I still wouldn't imagine that it would have trouble connecting to the Gitaly, or at least.
But what was the timestamp on those errors? It could be that those were old errors that had nothing to do with.
No, it's my local time.
Okay, so they are recent. Huh.
Yeah, it's my local time. So I see this cancelled here and a couple of new jobs completed already. Let's try to copy them and use our purpose. Correlation ID will be mine. So I have inserted. Let's see if it's already consumed. Yeah, it is completed, as I see. Yeah.
How does Prefect know that there's a new job? Is it polling or is it doing pops up?
Yeah,
or
it's the old implementation is pulling. So you just pull database. I think that it must be re-implemented because pooling of SQL database is not really efficient solution.
No, but it's okay for this stage. It's something we can improve later. I was just curious what it does right now.
Yeah, it's just pulling in a circle.
Yeah, I think Postgres has nice mechanisms for notifications on this stuff, so it should be possible to make that nicer.
So I wonder if earlier when we started up Prefect, if there was some issue with the node manager not yet being able to, maybe the job gets picked up before, I don't know, Prefect is able to talk to the Gitaly nodes.
Yeah, that's
before it's completed dialing.
Yeah, although I would have expected a different error, but
I think what we can do is to remember this ID then we can update this event and set state to ready and attempt 3. So what I'm going to do is just to try to run this job one more time.
Yeah.
So it was updated and yeah, it's completed right now. So yeah, looked like John was right, and the issue is that Gitaly was not able to connect. Oh, sorry, Praefect wasn't able to connect to Gitaly's, but already consumed all the jobs to run.
So I think, yeah, maybe we can just create an issue to look into why there's some kind of timing issue when Praefect starts up. Seems like
might also have to do with connection options, because with a gRPC connection, you can specify if it should block until it gets a connection, or if like how it should handle failures. And it might be that it's failing fast, and this is a case where we don't want it to, or something like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Additionally, we might also be a little more, I don't know, give more time in the exponential backoff with the initial backoff. So if we always had given it 5 seconds, then probably would have connected as well.
Right.
At least we have options, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, having a rapid backoff might not be bad, because I think anecdotally I have the feeling that we may have some patterns where we create a lot of jobs in a row, and if the backoff runs a little later, then you might actually grab a bunch of jobs that got created in the meantime. Of course, you don't want to do it too much, but.
Okay, I can create an issue about this.
Okay, thanks.
Also, yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm fine.
Yeah, having jobs in database will allow us to test different scenarios. If let's say we have multiple prefects running and there are a bunch of replication jobs in queue, will they be processed in proper order and so on, if the locking works correctly, and overall how Prefect can handle a lot of updates or any other kind of replication jobs. So I think it's only the start of replication.
Yeah, thanks for the demo. Do you want to wrap up now? In the interest of
if
time?
no more questions or suggestions what we can do, then maybe yeah.
Thanks, that was a lot of fun to see what we have already.
Yeah, thanks, Pablo. It's awesome.
Cool, thank you, guys.
Do we have follow-up items other than the issue that John is about to create? Okay.
I'm curious about a couple of things, but I'm not really sure. Okay, I'm just going to say them, but I don't think they matter.
Yeah.
But I don't want to self-censor and not say them. One is that the states are strings. They could be enums with ints, and that would be smaller, but I don't know if we care right now. Also, the jobs, storing them as JSON is maybe a bit big. We could compress them, or we could use protobuf, but we just saw that it's really nice for debugging that you can just type out a JSON string. So it's probably appropriate for where we are right now to store them as JSON. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't think
that job as a JSON is a big an issue because JSON is well supported in Postgres and it's easy to understand just using client connection without any decoding mechanism. You will need to
so
use,
you mean that we can write queries where Postgres decodes the JSON or reads into it?
Yeah. You can also index on JSON fields, I believe, in Postgres, so it's nice.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, that's cool. I don't know if we need it, but that also, the fact that we could just create a job by hand, that's also very useful. Go ahead. I think CJ, you had, or like my question's answered.
Nitpick, but the nitpick I had is, why do we prefix Gitaly _ to the table name? Is that to support, for example, the GDK, that you have one database and you namespace them, or what's the story behind it?
Exactly. Just to create a kind of same family of tables.
I think the assumption I made when I laid out the configuration of this stuff is that we have our own database. So all the GitLab data is going to be in a database called GitLab HQ _ something, and we have Praefect _ something. So within that, it sort of is implied that we're in the Praefect namespace.
We can easily remove it. It's not yet merged and there is no migrations. So it won't take any cost for us, just whatever.
Well, nobody has any data in it, so we can just drop the old ones and create new ones. I guess, yeah.
So if you prefer more short table names like those, we can do that.
Yeah, I was mostly interested in the backstory, but if we can still change it, personally, I would prefer shorter table names.
I think so too. I think it's just easier to read, and we did the work to have our own database and have our own namespace. So I think we can just assume that it's just us in there. Well, they should also be descriptive. You can get carried away with, we can call them our T1, T2, T3.
RQL.
Let's create another. Let's create another row in T11. now join T5 on T13.
Obfuscate our table names.
Okay, I will just remove prefix then and leave all the other.
Thanks for demoing, Pavlo. I think it was really good to see also how the data in the database works, and for example, the attempts that it counts down instead of up, for example. That was very insightful, at least for me. Yeah, and I guess good weekend for everyone, and stay safe while you stay indoors, and see you all next week.
Bye, guys.
Have a good weekend.